in my journey, I'm realizing a lot of men are going through some form or shape or fashion. And being part of a dad's group, I've noticed that even though we go through this transition, a lot of dads are going through divorces, separation, custody battles. I'm noticing that there's a cry for help, and it's in a very subtle way, and it's in a way where they're crying for help, but they don't know how to ask for it. And I want to really challenge the narrative to say, hey, if you are asking for help, it's okay. You can ask for help, and maybe we can't give you the answer, but we can give you the support. We can we can sit in the mud with you. Sometimes we don't need that support. Sometimes we just want to sit in the mud and get dirty, and that's okay. And that's something I'm passionate about because that space is not readily available, and that's even why I'm here because talking about how to be an authentic man that may not be societally accepted, maybe not right now, but I see growth. I see that okay, these are men that want to be better versions of themselves. I don't see, oh hey, oh this guy needs to learn how to be an authentic man. No, I challenge that narrative because yes, this is important. How else do we show our children that hey, you know what, dad's growing. Wow, I really like the way he treat mom. Oh wow, how did you find this wonderful woman? Oh, because I became a wonderful man. So this is why these things are very passionate to me because we have to really look at ourselves in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? Everybody's shit stinks. So if I really want this great thing, I have to do this really different thing that's great. So that is why I'm passionate about it. And I want to go through it so I can give back to other men.
2, 1, go ahead.
So something I'm really passionate about is men's mental health. Being part of a dad's group, I've noticed that a lot of men there's a cry for help. They just don't know how to communicate that appropriately. And that's the unfortunate part in the society that we live in because men do need help and that's okay. And sometimes men don't need a tool. Men just need a space. They just need to sit in the mud. And I want to provide that space where we just sit in the mud and we get dirty and that's okay. There's there shouldn't be a stigma behind men needing help. And I want to challenge the status quo. I want to say, hey, you know what? It's okay. Being a man with emotions is okay because we're allowed to have that. We are emotional creatures. And showing that level of emotion, it's okay. Like that shouldn't be a bad thing. And that's what I'm challenging. And as I'm here and I'm doing these things, I'm trying to grow. I have to practice what I preach, and that's why I'm here. And this is what I want to give back. I'll never be that perfect guy, but I at least want to try. And as I'm trying, I want to share my journey with you. A lot of the things I'm learning here is really benefiting on my business side too. And I really enjoy it because when I have my meetings with my team, I notice a difference when I facilitate it in a more masculine way. And I'm thinking in my mind like, oh, I'm framing. And I notice how the interactions change. And even when I'm having like one-on-one conversations, I'm able to tailor it in a way where it's um it's still assertive, not assertive, but it's masculine and it's not like in a disrespectful way. And I'm able to like box all that together. And after the fact, I sit down. I'm like, when did I learn that? And I'm like, oh, I learned it from AAC. And it's just funny because this is geared towards women mostly. That's the idea, but there's so much like collaterals that fall into it because as I'm learning these, it's benefiting that, and it's so interconnected, and it's beautiful. And
Mm.
it's probably why I feel the way I feel. I'm like, man, I miss women, and I think that proves your point about status versus having the skills. You can have a bunch of money, but if you don't have the social skills and the knowledge, like the psyche behind it, and that's something you have to build. You can't just here's $1 million or here's billions of dollars and you're this high power person. Great, but that doesn't make you attractive. And that was the word you use, attraction. Yeah, sure, you're rich, you got money, but you're not really an attractive person. And you mentioned self-deprecating with Louis C.K. I was like,
Yes.
that's powerful because yeah, celebrity got all these things, but nobody's attracted to him because he just self-deprecates. I'm like, holy shit, that makes sense. Watching people grow, maybe if I'm able to be part of that, I would love it. Because what I get from here, I push to my dad group. Because there's a lot of dads that's struggling. Like, hey, so for finance, hey, you know what? I'm on my last dollar. Cool. How do we get you there? Or hey, I'm struggling. I can't find the right woman. I'm always meeting toxic women. And I take this and I'm like, all right, let me show you how to frame. Let me show you this. And
Mm.
then even the real estate side, I'm like, okay, cool. Good with numbers, good with this. How do we get this group together? So if I'm able to, well, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm kind of like, okay, how do I take that, package it into one, and then push it out?
Mm.
Because here we're just talking about relationship. But okay,
Yep.
cool, got it. But what if I can give you a little bit more? Maybe you don't need it, but maybe I could sprinkle a little bit in there, kind of gauge feelers, temperature check, as you say.